Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time, getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit freedomlovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. freedomlovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and also on 104.1 FM. Do not forget, if you want to listen on the internet, you can go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. This is the final hour, the hour about love. On my show, I had already in the past at least 2 or 3 times family member, the wife, and also the lawyer of an American man that I really believe he deserves a little bit more attention than what is being given to. Not everybody is famous like Sheriff Joe Arpaio, and that's fine. I'm glad for him. He got his pardon. That's great. But, to be fair, there are many other people out there who deserve pardon, according to my personal opinions and facts, based on what I will tell you again. But unfortunately, they're not getting the same attention that Arpaio got. I had on my show the wife of the gentleman that he just got released from prison, okay? And this is not just a regular guy. He wasn't in prison for some sort of, I don't know, he stole or robbed or killed anybody. For some photos, in my opinion, they were really, they not just they were innocent photos, but really they didn't harm anybody. And let's put it in this way, there is the evidence here that you will see. The many other cases similar to that, they were just taken care like in some sort, maybe disciplinary way, administrative ways, but for sure not ruin the life, not ruin the future, of a man who served this country for many years as a Navy sailor. I'm talking about Mr. Kris Saucier. I talked to his wife in the past. We had her on the show. I talked to his attorney. That he was very helpful. But now I'm finally glad to talk to him. And why this is important? This is not just important for Mr. Saucier. Of course, I feel for him. He has a life to take care of, his family, feed his family, his medical bills and everything else. His pension, his retirement is gone. And now you will go, I want you remember exactly what happened to him. We'll go through the facts, even fast. This is something I already talked about. I want to go through again. More important, I want to remind you that we don't live anymore under the rule of law. There is no justice in this country until criminals, walking criminals, I say alleged because everybody deserves a trial, like Hillary Rodham Clinton is still walking around, jumping like a fox, out there. Fox, I don't want to insult the fox. I don't know what she jumps like. She's like a really disgusting human being. That she should deserve serious prosecution, serious charges. And that's a reminder that we live right now in a new America, ending with decay. There is no more justice. The justice is just for us, the slaves. They will throw the book at us. Meanwhile, we have the elite. They can do pretty much whatever they want. And what are you going to do? Seriously. You still want to believe that, you don't want to talk about it because you want to still believe we live in a free country. We don't. You know how I always describe when the country is really free or when we live under tyranny? When we have a selective enforcement of the laws. Right now, the laws are selectively enforced and also not just selectively enforced, unjustly, enforced. Because they can throw the book at you and make the case out of thin air. Seriously. Let me bring Mr. Kris Saucier back for the first time on the show on Love, Guns, and Freedom. Saucier Kris. So, Kris, are you there?
Yes. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. And sometimes I go a little excited if my Italian British accent, I'm kidding about the British part, is kind of hard to understand. Just let me know, please, okay? I'll be happy to
That's all right.
spell things out. Listen, please, first of all, I would like to you, out of your own words, remind a little bit the public what happened to you, because this is something we cannot forget, because then I want people to compare what you did so terrible that you had to spend more than 1 year in jail, I guess, and prison, excuse me, and many other bad things to you. And then we have other people like Hillary Clinton jumping around, smiling, writing books, and making millions of dollars. You have the floor.
It's really upsetting. I mean, I'll never be able to get back the time I lost to my family and everything that they took from us. But the really upsetting part is just what you said. I totally agree with everything you said. Where how can we call ourselves free when the justice system is just for us and not for the wealthy and the elite? John Podesta, Huma Abedin, and Hillary Clinton, they committed far worse mishandling of classified information and admitted to it and said, well, we're sorry, so, that's it. And then everybody just said, okay, well, that's okay. And, you have Bill Clinton meeting with Loretta Lynch on the tarmac and saying, oh, well, that's, the subject of an investigation. Spouse meeting with the law of the land, and that's everybody just accepts that as well. It is what it is. Well, it's kind of sad. I don't think, it would be amazing if President Trump would pardon me and help restore my good name. But like I said, it's not going to take away what they did to us. They prosecuted me to the full extent of the law for simply mishandling classified information. And I didn't do it with nefarious purposes. I did it because I wanted to preserve some memory of my time in service, and I was very proud of what I did. Whereas, you have the Clintons making millions off of people. She's personally responsible for all those poor people that died in Benghazi because she didn't do her job, because she didn't care. They were more concerned with robbing the American public and getting rich off of, they said the streets in Washington were paved with gold in one interview, her and Bill Clinton said. Here I was, a guy just trying to serve his country. I was in the Navy for 11 years. You don't get rich being in the military. You don't do it for the money. You do it because you're proud to be an American and you're patriotic and you want to make a difference and, you want to protect freedom and democracy around the world. I can tell you that, I think it's universally accepted, even with Democrats, that Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton never did it because they were patriotic. They did what they did to make money and to get rich. And it's just shameful when a person like me, if they can do it to me, like I said, they can do it to anybody, because I wasn't a bad person. I didn't commit crimes. I was as far until this happened, I was an all-star as far as the Navy was concerned. I had nothing but good evals. I was extremely proud to be in the service, and I planned on doing 20 years. Like I said, not to get rich, not anything like that, but because I love serving my country. And if they can do that to somebody like me, people should be really concerned, because they can do it to anybody. And it's not about justice. It's not about protecting people. It's just about keeping us, poor people or whatever of the country in check, the people that aren't the wealthy and elite. And, if anything comes out of this whole debacle, I hope people see that. And I'm, if people hearing about my story, seeing the Clintons for what they truly were prior to the election, led any people to say, hey, this is wrong, and, think twice about voting for her, then, it doesn't make what happened to me okay, but at least, I think it was good in that sense that, Donald Trump got elected, and, so it's really sad. I was waiting to go to prison. It was not long before I went to prison that I watched Jim Comey go on the television and basically say that Hillary Clinton and her, compatriots did far worse than what I did, but no reasonable prosecutor would bring a case against them. And that's completely false, because there was a prosecutor that brought a case against me for doing far less.
Yeah.
So
let's remind that 1 second, Chris. I want to people remember. I mean, many of the people may already know that Kris Saucier was also on Fox News with Hannity. I mean, President Trump, or even before before President Trump became president during the elections, he was talking about you and your case with Hannity. Am I right or wrong?
Oh yeah, no, he talked about me prior to the election. My attorney actually met with representatives of the Trump team prior to the election at Trump Tower.
Wow.
And they said that, if they were to get elected, they would definitely look into my case and make right the wrong that was done to me by the Obama Justice Department. And so, we're still hoping that that'll happen. But, definitely, President Trump and even President-elect Trump talked about my case.
Wow.
So
the point is, the situation, it was pretty well known, at least also in mainstream media, and also with Mr. Trump before he was the president. Now, I want you to remind for the people maybe that are new to this, shortly, what did you do? What happened to you? Why did you end up, where you are? Go ahead.
I think, it was a reactionary time when, when my investigation or the investigation into me started in 2012. The FBI was, going after Snowden and upset that he had taken off, and the Obama administration was really going after people that mishandled classified information. Unfortunately, most people like Chelsea Manning or Bradley Manning and Snowden, they leaked information. I never leaked information. I had no nefarious purpose. I had some pictures of where I worked on my phone because I was proud of it, and they turned it into a case where they could prosecute me because I was an easy target. I was patriotic. I wasn't going to get on the news because I was still in the military, so I wasn't allowed to speak out about my case. And I didn't have the money to provide a legal defense like the Clinton team did. I can't imagine if, they had indicted Clinton that she would have, basically been forced into a plea deal or anything like that, because her legal team would have been insane. She would have been able to fight it. But me, I didn't present that big of a target to them, so I was an easy mark, and it's sad to say, but that's the way it works. Just for another instance of if you need a case to compare mine to, if you look at General Petraeus mishandled top secret information and was allowed to plead guilty to a misdemeanor and receive probation.
Yeah.
And he mishandled top secret information. My information was confidential, which is the lowest level of classification.
Wow. Wow.
And then the information that Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin and John Podesta were mishandling was top secret, and even in some cases SCI, which is special compartmentalized information, which is the highest level of of classification.
Yeah, and don't forget also, Mr. General Petraeus is also a member of the Council of Foreign Relations, and is a general. That's the fact. You're not a general.
Well, yeah, that kind of falls under what you were talking about with the elite society. They play by their own rules,
Yeah.
He was allowed to, he was the director of the CIA at the time, and he was allowed to step down. They didn't even take his clearance, and he was able to continue working as a Washington representative. So in the grand scheme of things, once again, he's one of the people that are up there where they don't really want to go after him. They'd rather go after somebody like me.
Yeah. And now let's see exactly the consequences that you paid, because it wasn't just, you just spent some time in prison. You are technically a convicted felon. You lost a lot of things that you worked very hard, like, benefits, pension. Let's keep going through. Give me, on top, before even we go into the family time and the love of your family and the stress and the economic burden on your wife and your child. Give the big picture of what happened to you the moment that you had to face this reality.
Well, it was so much more, like you said. It was so much more than just, going to prison and that. I had to sit in prison and watch my family lose pretty much everything. Our vehicles got repossessed. Our house went into foreclosure.
Wow.
And then now I get out of prison, and even though we've lost all those things, I still have a lot of debt from the legal defense. We put everything we could into my legal defense, and even more than what we had. I maxed out credit cards, and I took out personal loans to pay for the legal fees, and and then that it's going to take me years to dig out of that hole. So yeah, I'm a felon. I lost the right, a lot of the rights that I spent 11 years in the service defending other people having. I lost the right to vote. I lost the right to have firearms, to be able to go hunting or anything like that.
Or to defend your family. Forget about hunting. It's great, but as a right of a free human being to defend yourself and your family, that's pretty sad.
Yeah.
That's
sad.
sad.
Mine wasn't a violent crime or anything,
Exactly.
I'm right in there labeled as such as with all the other people that are felons now, and trying to find employment. Obviously that's a negative mark on me. Plus, the Navy gave me an other than honorable discharge, and put on paper that characterized my entire 11 years based off of this one event. And I lost my disability that I've got a lot of. I had 70% disability rating from the VA before I got kicked out, and they're not required to cover me at all.
Wow.
So.
Wow, that's very sad. And as I said, people may ignore this, say, I don't care. It didn't happen to me. Guess what? This is exactly how we're going to go towards complete tyranny. And tomorrow may happen to your son, to your daughter, to yourself. That's why I really believe this is something so important. I mean, listen, nobody's perfect. I'm sure during the 200 and whatever years we've been in this country, we always had some problems. But I tell you something, this is for me the apotheosis, the peak of what we are reaching now as a country. We are losing our values. We are losing the principles of this country. We are no more rule of law. This is completely tyranny now. As I said, selective enforcement of the laws, and more important, not even selective. This is completely unleashing a complete, let's say, almost to make a point. It wasn't about justice. It wasn't about laws. And I say, I'm here. I just studied your case from outside, but I can tell you what you said, unfortunately, is true. I wish, you just did something so bad that you deserve it, but you don't. I mean, for what you did, that was completely unnecessary. And if you want to look at how they want to make a point, excessive use of the law, they really abuse you in this situation, in my opinion. So my point now...
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, for instance, the timeline, I did this, and I took the pictures in 2009, and here we are in 2017, and I'm getting punished.
Yeah.
So if it was about justice and it was about keeping me out of the streets, I went on for years after doing that and was effective and did my job in the Navy and got, great ratings. I wasn't bad at my job. I was very proud of it, and so, it wasn't like this happened and then I went to prison. No, it happened, and then, so you got to ask yourself, if they really were concerned about me, how can they say I went on and continued doing my job and was good at it? You know what I mean?
Exactly. This is also another important thing. Think about the time frame. I mean, it's not like they stopped you while you were somehow stealing some secrets or posting photos all over that you couldn't control yourself. They were all photos years before. By the way, there were not even any type of, let's say, specific part of your, you were in a submarine. Am I right? Right? I mean, you saw. It's not like you were doing some secret weapon or some secret ninja. I mean, they were very innocent, almost souvenirs photo. Okay, that you wanted to take for your family to remember your duty that you did in those years when you were working and serving the country in the Navy. That's it. And as I said, this is for me, honestly, I always wonder why you think they did that to you. I have my own opinion. Why you think they did that to you? I mean, all this energy.
Well, like I said, I think they wanted to make an example of somebody. It was all happening around that time with, Brian Nishimura, General Petraeus, the Snowden thing and whatnot. It was all happening around that same time. And the Obama administration was really, trying to go after people, and they saw me, and I was a much easier mark than Hillary Clinton, and I think they went after me to try to say that they could say that, we're being hard on people that are mishandling classified information. See, look at this case, and they never for a second thought that I'd be able to defend myself, and they were right.
Yeah,
what I mean?
They always pick their praise. And they want to have always their little, they're kind of the prosecutors. I don't care who you are. It is not after justice. It's after statistics. They want to have the.
Another prime example that you can look at, because throughout it, there was times when I got really down and I thought, what, maybe I deserve this. Maybe this is just, and then I got to the point, I'd pled guilty. I'd said, what I did was wrong, and I'm willing to accept the punishment that the judge issues out to me. And then, 2 months later, I go to my sentencing, and most sentencings, the judge has already made the decision before you come into sentencing what he's going to give you. So sentencing's more or less just a formality, right? So usually sentencing hearings only last an hour or two. In my case, because the prosecutors had they were upset because I think they wanted it to go to trial. They wanted to be able to make a national spectacle of it.
Yeah.
And by pleading guilty, I didn't give them that opportunity. So they used my sentencing hearing to make that spectacle, because there was reporters in the courtroom and everything like that. So they knew they could really hammer it to me there. So, here the judge has already made his decision. And instead of sentencing taking an hour or two, it took all day. They started at 8 in the morning and they went until almost 4 p.m. The prosecutors, not my lawyers, but the prosecutors, saying how I was this horrible person, or I deserve this, or this or that. But none of it was backed by any facts or anything like that. They wanted to make it a national spectacle. They wanted it. They did that for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. And this is very sad. As I said, they pick their praise to make a case, and at the same time, that's exactly what they think. They wanted to make a case. You see, after all, we have justice in America. You break the law, we will come after you. Of course, dog does not bite dogs. I mean, other dogs, Wolf does not bite wolves. So Hillary, all these other people, forget about it. General Petraeus, you okay. But the little guy, we will smash your head on the wall. That's for sure. All right. Listen now, let's talk about, first of all, when did you get out of prison?
I got out last Wednesday.
Wow. I mean, I'm sure, I cannot imagine, because thank God I didn't have to, so far, hopefully never. I never had to go through what you went through. And I don't know, can you describe your first moment when you were out of that wall, that gate?
I was just really, really happy it kind of was surreal. I didn't know if it was really happening or not. And I thought about it, the whole time I was in there, just about how good it was going to be able to be home with my family and not be watched by guards when I was visiting with my daughter, and be able to come home. When I left home, my daughter was really barely walking, and I came home, and now she's a whole different person. She turned 2 the day after I got home. And so it's just, it's amazing. I mean, just being home, I'm very, very grateful to be home, that everything worked out, and that we're still together, and that, we still have a roof over our head for the time being, and that, we'll figure it out from there,
And, another thing also, because I was talking with your wife, try to understand. Unless you are a real criminal, going back and forth to jail or prison, it's like a regular day. Sometimes also it's a vacation time, let me take a break, I go back there. But for somebody like you, who's an abiding person, that must be even tougher situation. I mean, can you describe some tough moments? Because, you're surrounded by real hardcore criminals. Am I right?
Yeah, I think you're right on point with, don't get me wrong. There was people in prison that, deserved to be there. But I think, it really opened my eyes, because honestly, I think I fell into the, groupthink of our country, where people think, well, if you go to prison, you deserve to be there. And, I met a lot of people like myself where I read about their cases, or I talked to them, and I said, wow, it's amazing that they put these people in prison, and like I said, don't get me wrong, there's people in prison that were not good people, but there was a lot of people there like me where they got railroaded, and the justice system really went after them because they were easy targets, and it's sad, because I think, unfortunately, the mass, the majority of the population in the United States, they see a news report about, hey, this person went to prison, and they think, well, that's a bad person, they deserve to go to prison. They don't think, well, maybe that person didn't get a fair trial, or maybe that person was used by the Justice Department to, you know what I mean?
No, I agree. Is this true? Many people like yourself, you're not the only one, especially non-violent crimes. I mean, there is a list. That's why we are number one now, prison population in the world, and the private prison system, it's an industry, it's a business. That's the bottom line. So they need customers, and that's also another reason why I really believe they try to get all the slaves like us into the system. Now, at the same time, as you said, there are also some real hardcore criminals that they really, unfortunately, are not exactly, first of all, they are not good. I mean, when they see somebody that they can smell that is not one of them, they like to prey. They like to use, coercion, violence. I mean, any experience that you were fearing for your life?
No, I didn't ever fear for my life. I mean, I wasn't in a really, really bad prison. And, I've been in the military for 11 years, so I know how to deal with people of all different backgrounds and of different, mindsets and stuff like that, and be able to get along and whatnot. I'm not saying that every day was, a fun time there. But overall, the worst part for me about being in prison wasn't being in prison. It was knowing that my family was suffering and that they, were struggling, and I couldn't do anything about it. That was the toughest part for me.
That's true.
I mean,
I understand.
Feeling completely helpless. That's the part that bothered me. That
okay.
I've done deployments. I did 2 deployments to the Middle East. I've done hard times. And so being in prison, and as compared to some of the deployments I've done, wasn't all that bad. But for me, not knowing, when I was on deployment, my family was still getting my paychecks, and I knew they were being taken care of. But the Navy and everybody completely disowned us. My wife lost her health insurance from my daughter and me, and
wow.
We, our insurance carrier USAA dropped us because of it. So it was a really tough time. It was a really dark time, and I couldn't do anything to help because I was in prison. That was the tough part for me.
That's very sad. Listen, at this point, let's look at the future. What we can do, what the listeners can do, because I think there is something every one of us can do. First of all, learning your story is important. We cannot fix a problem until we know the problem. And number 2, I really believe now, since the president is still Mr. Trump, President Trump, and he's willing to listen. I mean, he listened to Mr. Sheriff Arpaio, and I think you're not better, not less than Mr. Arpaio. I think you deserve the same attention, at least, because at least if you had a pardon, it also will remove this situation with your burden, like you would be not anymore a felon, and more important, you will get also your benefits, and you will be able to work again. Am I right?
Yes, yeah, oh yeah, it would definitely help me move forward. I mean, that's really my focus right now is moving forward. Being able to get back on and be a contributing member of society again. This is kind of a bump in the road. And we're, even if I don't get a pardon, I'm still gonna keep going forward and keep on. Trying to stay positive and going towards a brighter future. I mean, it would be amazing if I was able to get a pardon, and it would be vindication of some sort. It doesn't change the fact. I've heard people say, well, I deserve to be punished. Well, I did. I did a year in prison. I mean,
wow.
I think a pardon would kind of set the record straight that, hey, what happened to me was on some levels wrong.
What? I'm sorry. This is my personal opinion, of course. You don't deserve to be in prison until Hillary Clinton is facing trial, for starter. Let's put it in this way. And, still there, I would say there was an excessive, completely... when you have, we have also in our Bill of Rights, you cannot start talking about punishment, harsh punishment, and that completely out of their mind. I mean, that's like North Korea punishment, in my opinion, what they did to you. But before we go there, Hillary Clinton must face trial, and then we can talk about justice for everyone. Listen, you have a website, a page where people can listen more about you.
Okay.
You have a website where you can share, where people can know more about you and your case?
No, not yet. We're still, I think we're still trying to get the ones that I had while I was in prison back and going and set up. So I'll have my wife or my attorney get back to you with that.
Okay, and if you have also a Facebook page, I think you have a Facebook page. I remember that. Am I right?
Yeah, I think it's Free Kris Saucier.
Perfect.
At Facebook.
Very good. And now at this point, I want to give you the floor. You close. You got 1 minute. Whatever you want to say. All I want to say to the listeners, please, this is your opportunity now to start to do your part. You can call President Trump and say, please consider to pardon Mr. Saucier. You got the floor, Kris. Go ahead. You close.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you and all of your listeners for the support. There was a lot of people that an outpouring of support when I went in, and even if it was just emotional for my family, it meant a lot. Everything that people out there had positive things to do to help us, and I hope Trump. I know he knows about me, and I know he knows my case, and that he thinks that what happened to me was wrong. So I hope that he'll take that into account, and that he'll follow through and help me and my family get back what we lost, and give us a pardon. So,
Very good. Listen, I appreciate you, the courage also to continue talking about this because many people don't even want to talk about something like that. They want to just run, And I think it's
Well,
important, you keep bringing this up. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, to that point, I think it's important. Don't get me wrong, I don't enjoy talking about it, but I think that it's important not to let them make us forget. If we let them push this sort of thing under the rug, then they're winning. They're subjugating our society and making us into like what you were talking about, where we're slaves and we're not aware of what's going on. And that's what they want.
Yes. Lisa, say hi to your lady, and she's a strong lady, by the way. I had her on the show a couple of times. She's always been doing everything she can and more. I'm sure you're proud of her, okay?
Yep, I'm
Lisa,
very proud of her. Thank you.
My best to you and your family, okay? Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't go away. Stay there 1 second. Okay, listen, guys. This is pretty much the story. I have a little break, then we'll continue. This is the final hour, the hour about love. I have some more information I would like to share with you. Do not go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna.
Are you ready to get lost in lust? Immerse yourself in a thunderstorm of emotions and passion. Order Gianluca Zanna's new book, Perfectly Crazy, 69 erotic visions and love poems with forbidden erotic Italian phrases. Perfectly Crazy by Gianluca Zanna. Available all over the world at Amazon.com and www.zanna.us.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. This is the final hour, the hour about love. As I said, differently from the government, normally they want you to force to help others. I believe in free will. And I believe that it's our opportunity. It is not even just a duty. I think it's an opportunity. When you have somebody in front of you who is a human being and is in need, it's a natural thing normally to think, hey, I would like to help. Sometimes we can't. Of course, we are just regular people. We try sometimes barely to go through our lives. We wish somebody could help us. That's fine. I understand that. But sometimes you can. Sometimes you may have some skills that, it wouldn't take much. Maybe an hour of my life, and I can change a life, or I can change few lives, so I can help it for a moment. That's what I mean. So I really believe this is also the purpose of the show. It is not just about talking about politics or, guns. It's about love. And that's the way I look at love. It's not just the romantic form or the physical or sensual love. Of course, we like that. But this is also about this sort of universal love that we can help each other regardless, wherever you're from. I don't care. If you're a decent human being, I would like to help you if I can. And my way to help you in this way is to give you the microphone of the show. If you have a problem, I'm not guaranteeing that I'm going to fix your problems. I wish it was so easy. But at least I can give you a microphone. You can talk. And maybe somebody may listen. And maybe say, hey, you know what? Let me see if I can do something. Especially now with the internet, we can really cross the barriers, the frontiers, and everything else. I'm a nationalist. I like to have borders. But when it comes down to love, I believe in love across the world. You can be right now, for example, in Italy, and we're here in America. We can help each other. I don't care where you're from. You're in Florida, we're in Arizona. We can help each other. I believe in that. So anyway, let me shut up. Let me bring this lady who I already had on my show, I think at this point, a couple of years ago. I don't know. Time goes so fast. She's from Arizona, by the way. She's not far from Kingman. Unfortunately, I never had a chance to meet her, but I had her on my show. Her name is Raven. Raven, are you there?
I am. Thank you.
All right. When was the last time we talked? Maybe 1 year ago, 2 years ago? I think 2 years ago. Is it possible? Mm-hmm. My gosh, time goes so fast. Anyway, I know you have a specific message today. Let's say a call for help, and maybe more than one. I give you the floor, and be specific exactly what we can do to help you, or what people can do to help you. Go ahead.
I breed Great Pyrenees for ranches, people that need it for service dogs and that sort of thing. And my Great Pyrenees, Gaia, had 8 puppies Saturday night, and everything went well. And then about 9 hours later, I noticed that she had an infection that just is genetic. It just comes through genetics. And I began to work with her and treat her naturally with what I had here on the land. I live on 40 acres outside of Seligman, homesteading and living off grid. And she ended up at 12-hour having a 9th puppy. but now she has an infection. At the same, a critical infection. It will kill her. At the same time, my vehicle, 1977 Chevy, is not working. And so I've had no way to get off the land or get to Kingman where my vet is waiting for her. So I finally had a rescue step in that they're going to pick up my ranch partner and bring him to Kingman with the dog and the puppies to get her treatment. But he will be left in Kingman without a ride and a way home back to Seligman. And then, of course, we have to get back to Kingman to get the dog, the vet bill, and that sort of thing. So we've just been in a pickle. It's been an interesting time because ordinarily compassion tends to reach the lips and the service of others. And in this case, I called probably over 45 to 50 people from the fire department, the library, volunteers, the churches, individuals, and there was a coldness. There was a lack of love. And it really, really touched me in a way that made me realize the woundedness of the world at this time. We are in a struggle together. We all are facing things in our own individual world, but we're forgetting to be there for each other and to serve and support, even in the midst of our own chaos. It does help to help each other. And so that's where I'm at right now.
All right, Lisa, I know you already said that, but let's say it again. Exactly where are you located?
I am off of exit 109 down Anvil Rock Road in Seligman area, out in the wilderness.
Okay, that's out of the 40, right?
Yeah.
40, okay.
I-40, yeah.
I-40, okay. And if people want to reach you, you have a website or Facebook or phone number, whatever you want to give out, at least they can reach you out, hopefully.
My phone number is 928-910-9473. And you can find me on Facebook. My name is Raven, R-A-V-E-N, Galarza, G-A-L-A-R-Z-A, Day, D-E, Gold, G-O-L-D. So Raven Galarza Day Gold.
All right. Listen, I know there are some listeners that are from, let's say, the area just before you, not far from you. And I'm going to try to also contact them on Facebook. Maybe if you send me like some sort of, let's say, short story that what you just said, we can put it out on Facebook and share it. Of course, the radio show Sunday when today's playing, hopefully more people can reach, but we need help before Sunday. This is an emergency. I mean, this poor little dog, if he has an infection, he's not going to make it till Sunday. Am I right?
Correct. She may die tonight if she doesn't get the fluids and the surgery.
I mean, this is serious. And on top, you know, as I said, as a good neighbors, you know, without a car, especially where we live, we are living in a rural America. I mean, it's nice, but at the same time, there are some, you know, situations that you need to be aware. We need a car. We need more than one car. Then normally we have a couple of cars or a truck. Without a car, that is very tough. So somebody, a good mechanic, could help you out to even just fix this problem. That would be great. Maybe you can do a trade. You can help them out with something. I mean, I'm not even saying you got to do it just because, you know, it's your good heart. You know, sometimes we can help each other, sharing favors. I mean, you know, I don't know. Tomorrow you may help and take a look at his house, or I don't know, whatever skills you have. I believe now it's time to go back also to trading skills or, let's say, favors. You know, that would be a nice way to help each other. You know. Anything you want to say before I give you the floor again? I mean, this is going to give you the last minute. Whatever you want to say, I'll let you have the floor. Go ahead.
On that note, I have a 1977 Chevy Van 350, and I think it's the spark plug distributor or something, but the timing's off, and that it doesn't go. It's not going over 30 miles per hour and it's stalling. It just needs somebody to help me to fix that vehicle, and I have a second vehicle that also has a seemingly minor issue, so that I would actually have two vehicles operating, because you're absolutely right. There's no way to survive as far away as I live without an operating vehicle, emergency, whatever. And it's just been very, very frightening to me.
Yeah, no.
I've been without a vehicle for over a year now.
On top, you need a vehicle. I mean, I don't care. An emergency. Now, the dog, I feel sorry. But what if tomorrow you have an emergency for yourself? And, you know, before even the fire department finds you, probably it's going to take an hour just to find your place. I mean, forget about arriving. So you need to have something. You can jump in the car. Question, Do you have any neighbors out there that you can talk to help you out, that they may drive you around?
That's the thing. My closest neighbor is 4 miles away, and what I realized in this experience, which kind of was shattering to my heart, was that nobody was willing. I know people that are not working right now, have an operating vehicle. We offered to pay the gas to get there. They said no. They just were not interested in helping, and it was very disarming to find this out.
That's very sad, especially, you live there. If there are people already living close to you, if they have time, I mean, on top you offering to do something in exchange. You don't want just, pure favor. I mean, honestly, it would be nice once in a while. Thank you very much. One day I may need your help. We exchange favors. I believe in that. Today I just do it. Tomorrow, hey, I need a favor. Please run here. Take care of this. Help me out. Thank you. That's the way it should be anyway. But listen, I pray. Meanwhile, all I want to do besides praying, I want to get this message out. And please, listeners, especially if you live not that far from Seligman area, and if you have little time, I mean, it wouldn't take much, maybe a couple hours. That would be a good start. And then if there is a mechanic out there, even if you're not an official mechanic, sometimes there are people who not like me. I'm terrible. I don't even know what is really under the car. I mean, I just know that drives, okay? But I know there are people out there, guys, who love this stuff, okay? And that would be fun. Maybe help them out with, maybe you can cook a lunch or something for them. I don't know. Just help each other. That's all I'm saying. All right, Raven, let me know, please, if you have any news coming after this. And more important, send me that information on Facebook, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Raven. Thank you. And this is Luke. I'm sorry, I was almost sleeping a little bit here. Sometimes I get kind of excited. Okay, I want to have a little break, and then I want to close this hour with something very important. Something about, I don't want to tell you. It's important. Just stay here. Don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luke and Zanna. Thank you.
Awaken the warrior in you with Skadi, the new organic coffee by Zanna Enterprises, LLC. I am Skadi, Norse goddess of winter, hunting, and just revenge. I bow down to no one. I am independent. I am fierce. I am a warrior. My Viking spirit is reborn in the new organic bean blend by Zanna Coffee. I will keep you up when you feel down, sharing my energy, my boldness, my zest for life. Find happiness in every cup, whether it's iced like a Scandinavian night to refresh a summer day, or hot as a hearth fire to warm the coldest winter morning. As you rise to face the day, Skadi will awaken the warrior in you.
Available at www.zannacoffee.com.
Here we go, guys. This is Luca Zanna, or guys and girls. I have a lot of my listeners, you are ladies, and that's great. This is the final segment for the final hour, third hour of Love, Guns, and Freedom. As you can hear, or as you have heard, there was Skadi Coffee. Yes, the new blend. The new blend that I created from my Zanna Coffee line. And I really like it, by the way. Every blend that I create is different from the other one. I like variety. I like different flavors. That's also what I like in life. I like to have different flavors. I don't like to all be stuck with one thing, okay? So I wanted to create different blends for different tastes of coffee. Skadi is my newest one, or the latest one. And I really have a great feedback. I get great feedback from my customers. I'm glad you like it, because I love it too. Of course, my favorite, I must tell you, is the straight shot espresso. By the way, you don't need to use it just as espresso, because all my coffee beans, of course, are not grounded, are alls. So you can ground them the way you like them. And a lot of people love, let's say, straight shot espresso blend as American coffee. Of course, it's a very strong, bold, body, but that's another story. So anyway, that's the point. I try to enjoy life, and I really appreciate, I'm thankful that I'm able to share with you things that I like, like for example coffee, or sharing with you, of course, information to try educate each other, help each other. As you heard, this is the part of the show that honestly I love the most. Love. We can help each other. That's the idea. Now, I want to spend a few seconds. I know probably it's not even worth talking about it, but I should. I have a person that I don't want to mention the name because it's not worth it. Really keep writing me after she unfriended me on Facebook, and that's fine. She blocked me, honestly, because she didn't like what I told her. You know, you come on my page and you start to tell me that I'm a liar, you're gonna get something. Sorry, I don't come on your page and put you in that spot. If you tell me things like that, I tell you exactly straightforward what I think about you after you, let's say, what you told me. Anyway, and for me, they probably would be there. I don't even care, move on. She wanted to block me because I'm rude. I tell her exactly what I think, that's fine. No problem. Then she told me that she never want to hear from me anymore. That's great. Then I have probably about 20 emails, one after another one. And every email ends like, oh, do not write me back. Do not write me back. Of course, I don't write you back. But she keeps writing. Then, of course, the last email she brings back something about a person that I want to talk anyway. Just, unfortunately, my show is a weekly show. And, no, unfortunately, that's what I really want. But, I can condensate as many news as I can, especially when they're newsworthy. Mostly I try to talk about general topics. Okay? But anyway, the topic that I wanted to talk, at least the news, it's a local news in Mojave County, is about former sheriff candidate for sheriff office, Corey Merriman. That allegedly, she was on the newspaper for allegedly stealing a pair of shoes at Kmart, probably about $15 pair of shoes. Now, why I didn't talk about this yet? Very simple. No, not because I work, or at least I collaborate, and I am also friend with Mr. Ed Mack. No, that's not the point, because, I am beyond that. When I'm on the show, my goal is to say the facts, say the truth. Even if sometimes maybe, against my own, myself, if that's what it is, that's what it is. The point is one, though. I don't like National Enquirer stuff. I don't like to put people on the gossip trial before we have all the evidence, especially when I know that there is at least enough evidence out there to be politically prosecuted in this county, because you're not liked for what you say or what you do. But the point is, right now we're talking about an alleged crime, or potentially, allegedly, we don't know for sure till there is a trial. I want to wait for that. Somebody that supposedly stole a pair of shoes. Let's say for a moment, first of all, as I said, I will talk, and I will also try to have her on the show in case after the trial, no matter which result, and I don't know because I wasn't there, and I'm not so cocky or arrogant to say, oh, I know for sure she didn't steal. I don't know. I'm just here. One thing I know, though, I know that Mrs. Corey Merriman, she doesn't need to steal things. Her husband not only can buy a pair of shoes, probably can buy her the old shoe shop, okay, the old store. So let's put it this way. We'll find out after this. We're coming to a point that everybody is going to have, the day in court. And by the way, yes, this person was trying to, when she wrote me this email that said, you don't talk about Mrs. Merriman because you're friend with the husband. And but you talk about other two people, like State Senator Sonny Borelli and the shooting grant. Forgot for what? Oh, when he got arrested. Or whatever happened, he got some sort of a situation that was anyway. Yes, he had a situation that I remember on the show. You can check my old show. He had an order against him, and all was on public record because it was already prosecuted and the case was closed. Okay, that's the point. So my point was, I talk about things after they have all the evidence and the judicial system bring in a way that it's closed. So when I talk about Mr. Shooting Grant, it wasn't about personal. I just talk about the public records that they were there. Same story with Sonny Borelli. Okay? When we talk about Mr. Borelli, at that point he was a representative, cursing and talking about, former Senator Ron Gould names, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to go into that. But the point, I talk because I had all the evidence. Even when I talk about his case of domestic violence, because there was a police report, was done, was finished. He was pleaded guilty and everything else was, he got his, sentence done, at least was finished. The judicial system, somehow, whatever if you believe it or not, but that was the final result. Now, with Mrs. Corey Merriman, we still have in the middle of the process. As I said, we're going to have a day in court, and at that point, after the final judgment, whatever it's going to be, I will be happy, and it will be my duty to talk about her. Seriously. And I will also try to invite her on the show if she wants to come. So just to show you that, I don't have any type of hidden cards here or hidden agenda. I may not be perfect. I understand. Not only my English is not perfect, but also sometimes, I make mistakes too, okay? And if I do, please let me know and I'll correct. But at this point, that was something I wanted to wait for a moment because I've been busy the last 2 weeks. And one more thing, as I said, let's say for a moment that really this Mrs. Corey Merriman stole a pair of shoes. If I tell you something, first of all, I would feel sorry for her because at that point, it is not even about the shoes, $14 shoes. It's about maybe she has some personal interior problem. They need some medical help. It is not even about stealing. I still don't condone stealing, for sure. But at that point, I feel sorry for her. Because I think there is something wrong that must be addressed. Some serious interior problem that must be taken care of. It is not about stealing the shoes. Number one. Number two, at the same time, it's kind of funny because on the local newspapers, they put it on every front page. Why there were some other serious situation like Kmart being robbed by a gang. They could not even catch them. They stole probably thousands of dollars of jewelry and they put them at the bottom page. But her for $14 alleged shoes was everywhere. And many other situations I want to go into details. But the point is, this is about sensationalism. This is about, in my opinion, also a political agenda. As I said, let's wait for the court system, judicial system, what we'll do, and I'll be happy to talk about Mrs. Merriman. Meanwhile, as I said, to this person that she kept writing me in email about me and my ego, that I am so disgusting, and somehow I don't know exactly what is their problem. She blocked me. Just move on and try to give me lessons on spirituality, on meditation. Please, enjoy your life. I never wrote you back, and I will never write you back. If that's the way you feel for me, I'm not even sorry. I do not care, because we don't need to live close to each other, and I don't tell you what to do. Just leave me alone. Stop sending me emails. I really appreciate it. And more important, I want to tell you before you judge others, because that's what you do anyway. Just look at yourself in the mirror. That's all I want to say. All right. Anyway, that's pretty much the message. And people say, look at what he has to do with the show. He has a lot to do because, on the show, we can talk about everything. And as I said, local issues, like, for example, the situation with Corey Merriman, like I talk other local political issues, we talk about everything. There is no any type of, let's say, taboo. Okay. And of course, I try to keep it positive. I try to keep constructive. I try to find solutions. Once in a while, yes, I have to tell you a little bit when I am not even disappointed. Just, let's say, tired. I'm tired when people keep writing me. I mean, somebody who doesn't want to talk to me and she writes me 20 emails non-stop. Try to preach me how to live my life, what to eat, what to do with my sexuality, what to do with my spirituality, what to do with the chakras that I really don't care. Okay? And I never ask you for your opinion or for your feedback of your, spiritual advising. You block me on Facebook, just let me go. And we're not even connected. We're not even like we were close friends. We were just Facebook friends. And why I'm sharing this? Because I understand how people out there can become stalkers, can become dramas, I'm very simple. If you don't like me, you block me, I'm out. Or let's say you don't want to talk to me. Oh, that's fine. Big world. Thank you very much. See you. I'm sorry. Apologize, but we move on. Some people don't let it go. And I can see honestly when you have on the other side, maybe sometimes most of the time could be a man, but even women, and they can start to become a little too pushy and aggressive, okay? So that's my point. This is the hour about love. And also, love, as I said, maybe this is not love. I'm not saying that this is a situation, it's love. But, unfortunately, it's part of a human component. I will call it gossiping. I would call some sort of a strange emotions that I cannot define. All I know that it's time to let it go. Okay? Now, back to us, important things. I would like to remind you that it's humbling for me to be here on the show. It's humbling to listen to your feedback and to have the opportunity to share information. As I said, I may not be perfect many times. I may also do mistakes. All I ask you, please, if there is something I'm wrong, just send me an email. Let me know. Or PM me on Facebook. Email is better, by the way. Zanna@zanna.us. And I'll be happy to see what's going on. If I made a mistake, I'll be happy to correct myself. Okay? Now, ready for the end. This is the final segment. We're almost at the end. I want to remind you that I really appreciate your help. Every way you do it, I appreciate it. On my new book, Perfectly Crazy, all the buyers, readers who supported the book, I really do appreciate it. You can find it on Amazon.com, Perfectly Crazy by Gianluca Zanna, or even at just Zanna.us. I appreciate your support for the coffee, ZannaCoffee.com, and everything else I'm doing. I do not really rely on the support of sponsors, as you know, because I want to keep this show free from any type of pressure, corporate pressure. And don't get me wrong, if you have a business that you like what I do and you don't want to interfere with our freedom of speech, you're more than welcome to sponsor the show. But sometimes, even small businesses, they try to tell you what they want to listen, and that's not the way I do it here. All right, God's willing, I'll talk to you next Sunday. You'll be listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. Ciao.